The starting point for most people with martial arts is self-defense. And Aikido has that role. Show you one or two situations. But then I want to very quickly move on to talk about what Aikido is really about, because it's about much more than self-defense, although it does that job very nicely. So say he grabs me around the throat, in a sort of threatening sort of situation. I'll squeeze. These things are really quite easy to deal with a bit of training. Or he tries to wallop me with a big right hand. Or he kicks me. Or he grabs me from behind. Thank you. That's sort of, yeah, we can do that in Aikido. We learn to do that sort of. But most of the practice doesn't really look like that. There's much more to it. I don't know. Just anything. Sort of freestyle. Do a little bit of that at the beginning. Again, that's another face of Aikido, dealing with a group of people. But it's much more than that. I'm out of breath and I have to try and talk as well. It's a good system of exercise. A lot of people come to keep fit. It's quite a valid concept. Other people would say form of self-discovery, whatever that might mean to you. But it's a long and interesting journey, studying to do even the most basic techniques. One of the main reasons people do Aikido. Some people regard it as a form of moving meditation. These kind of very beautiful movements. Do them though in a certain frame of mind. It's the frame of mind you're working on rather than smashing it into the ground. Can't read my writing. I'll plan this a little bit more carefully than usual. Mind and body coordination is another aspect. These moves are quite difficult. They're quite intricate. Get your body and mind working together to do them, that takes quite a lot of training. You can also talk about seeking some sort of explanation for some sort of understanding of how the universe works in an orderly way and how the movements of Aikido reflect the harmonious movements of nature. It's kind of esoteric ideas. But there's a lot of philosophy surrounding Aikido, and I don't like to do a completely practical demonstration without mentioning it. But it is all practice. We don't talk philosophy. Whatever your reason for here, from self-defense to self-enlightenment, you all do the same training in the same way. And you draw from that whatever you want. And as time goes on, you'll probably find the reasons for training change. So, most of the practice we do is unarmed training. Unarmed practice. But we also train with weapons. This is a Japanese sword. That's from an old Japanese sword school. It's taught by the founder, Saito Sensei, who I learned it from. We also have this weapon. Steer. It's called a jo. It's supposed to be understood as a steer. 31 count kata. These are standard set pieces. I'm trying to show you quite a lot of material. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. This isn't the contents of the beginner's course. This is the contents of an Aikido career. So you're talking about here, people who've been training for a minimum of 7 years. The beginner's course does 3 techniques in some detail and no weapons. And also the beginner's course teaches you how to receive techniques, how to fall safely. Nobody gets hurt. Even with the serious training of the seniors we don't have, accidents are extremely rare. Aikido is far safer than most martial arts actually are far safer than a lot of sports, which you can generalise. I saw far worse injuries playing squash than I ever saw doing Aikido. So I'm trying now to show you nice movements. No one's going to throw you around in the way that I'm throwing you. My partner's around today. We teach you how to receive techniques, and how to do the basic movements. It's just as important to learn how to receive as how to execute the techniques. Come on, please. Jump. We did some paired sword. There's also paired jump. First one. So there are 3 systems. Unarmed system, sword system, spear system, Jo system. And they're all linked together. You need to understand them all to understand Aikido well. There's a very simple common base to Aikido, and it generalises outwards into a very complicated. Well, it's complicated when you learn it, but when you know it, it seems quite simple because it's based on such nice, simple principles. A place you can see these things integrated more clearly is with the weapons taken. Because he's going to attack me with a weapon, and I'm going to do an unarmed technique against the weapon. Okay? That's a real one, so I hope I'm not going to get some. You use rubber ones or wooden ones in training. I'm going to show them off today. This is dangerous. This is dangerous. I'll drop the knife and cut a hole in the mat. Just making a fuss. Can you please out? Joe. And he'll attack me with Joe. But Aikido is very comprehensive. If I have a weapon and he doesn't, we still have a system. It's all interwoven, the body principles. The way of cutting with a sword, probably see my hips settle. This. Just the same, as if I'm holding the sword. Turning with the sword. You see the same pattern here. Yoko. Okay. Interrelated. As beginners, you study unarmed technique, but you're encouraged to join weapons training as soon as you feel ready or wish to, which could be tomorrow if you felt the urge. Right. Now, how about our practice? Day of Buddhist. All our training starts with strong holds. This is to make us strong and to understand where he's weak. We do a lot of work with strongholds. Then we Move on. I moved before he got hold of me. Stay moving. There's a gradation in training, starting from strong holds and moving up to free-flowing movement. But the strong holding that we do at the beginning is to make us strong and agile, to understand our own strengths, his weaknesses. Boundaries. Principles of the techniques. Not to struggle is one of the things we really emphasize. So you've got me, if I can't do it, there's an angle. I can do it easily. Just to illustrate this. I struggle. Isn't there thinking about it so much? Forearms on my thing. But there's a way. Here, if I fight the strength, look how much strength they've got. So there's an angle. Attacking weak angles, thing we learn to do. If your opponent is stronger than you, what can you do? You can't go and spend 6 months training to be stronger than him. You've got to have a method. Another thing we do, we attack weak joints. You've seen lots of this already. I'm attacking his wrists from my hips. Again, attacking the wrists. Wrist lock. This is slightly different, there's a little nerve hold. That's another principle. Attacking weak joints. The whole of your body bearing down on some weak part of his body. Time. If it hits me, I'll move. I won't go first time. Whenever I need to. It's very innocent looking, but it takes a lot of practice. Application of what I just did. Techniques have a number of, you're probably clear about this already. We throw one out. We do pins. Hold him down. Wrist lock. Backed up by locking his shoulder. So locks. And the other thing we do, we strike. And we strike right the parts of his body. all kinds of different ways. Nice basic move that we learn, like this one for example. At the beginning, you learn the moves. Later, you learn where the strikes are in relation to the moves. For combat, you basically need to strike people. All Aikido is structured around being able to strike effectively. Not like fighting like this kind of fighting. That's great stuff. But Aikido says he's strong now. Stronger than me, faster than me. How do I stop him? Well, I attack his vital parts. Say, grab his eyes, for example. I don't need to be poking in the eye. I won't say too much about that right now, but it's very much there. Aikido is a striking system. We strike with weapons, we strike with our hands. Thank you, Bob. Very important, we understand that. But we learn to move. Aikido is a very indirect system. We learn weapons, we learn to move, we learn to be powerful. And then you can add it together in the combinations that you want, in the ways that suit you. You all have different builds, different skills. You'll find things out that suit you best. And then you have your own personal subset of the techniques to use, should you need them. But mostly with good training. You don't need any fights anyway. Your composure, your awareness is such that you're not a person that attracts violence or needs to use violence. That's really our goal, is not to fight, but to develop a mentality of non-struggle, non-violence. But you have to go through the mill. You have to learn about your own violence before you can understand non-violence. It's in us all. One more thing that's very important about the techniques. They're all structured around the idea of multiple attackers. Make a circle around it, please. Imagine it's like a feudal battlefield. It's the sort of situation that perhaps illustrations. I won't move the first time. Show me the shape. Show me the shape. All the techniques are designed to escape from an encircling position. So, again, please. Well, I got one of them, but the other's got me. So we don't do those kind of techniques. They're excellent techniques, but that's why we don't do certain things like high kicks and big sweeps. Again, please. All the techniques are structured around that. One holds me, the other hits me. So I have to move. It's fine. Stand on his feet, I can throw my head back, but see? There's a group of attacks. Here we go. Little child. You see this position? Well, I could probably. But so, and then we can start doing other things now. So it's important you know these things because, again, when you're training, someone grabs your wrist. If you've seen other martial arts, you might think, well, why doesn't he just kick him? Well, I might well. I trained to have that ability. But you understand, if there are people closing in around me, and I just hit him, I get him, but they get me. The Aikido system is, so I use him against the others. So if you ever think, well, why am I doing this funny technique? The people that devised Aikido were extremely knowledgeable. They fought to save their lives. Even the family, although firearms were invented, there was a lot of honour with fighting with these kinds of weapons. And he did. He fought a lot. An enlightened old man in his later years, in his early years, he wasn't a good man to have as an enemy. His enlightenment, I believe there was a lot of blood led towards his enlightenment. Of course, that's what we don't know about. He was certainly a great warrior. Right. There are 9 basic techniques. Okay. Dave, show them one. Castaneda. Just one each time. I'm not sure that was quite a comprehensive selection, but anyway. So there are 9 basic techniques. The beginner's course covers 3 of them, with the 3 most important of the 9, with lots of ancillary things that you need to learn about. We have a course which follows the beginner's course, a basic techniques course, which covers all 9. And it just grows from there. Finish the demonstration there.
Morning, Dr. Kozaczek.